In a quiet, magical forest, where whispers travel through the trees and every creature has a story, there lived a wise old owl named Dr. Albert E. Owl. One evening, as the wind rustled softly and fireflies danced in the air, the owl noticed you lost and wandering. With a gentle smile, he began. "Let me tell you a story, about a little puppy named Tiny." It was a bright spring day when Tiny, a small and cheerful Jack Russell puppy, was traveling home with his beloved owner Angie and her kind grandpa. They laughed and sang as their yellow car rolled down the road, until suddenly, the sky darkened. A storm swept in. Rain poured. Thunder roared. Their car broke down in the middle of nowhere. Grandpa stepped out to fix it. Angie followed to help, but she left the door open. And that's when Tiny saw it, a tiny frog hopping in the rain. Curious and playful, Tiny jumped out and chased after it, but in a flash, he slipped, and tumbled down a muddy hill, disappearing into the forest below. The storm raged on. Cold, wet, and frightened, Tiny curled up inside a small hollow bush, and fell asleep, unaware that Angie was calling his name, again, and again. The next morning, the forest came alive. And Tiny was no longer alone. A group of rabbits discovered him. They gasped in fear. "A monster!" some whispered. But their bold and stubborn brother, JC, shrugged. "If he survives, he survives." But Joanna, kind and gentle, stepped forward. "No, we should help him." One by one, the rabbits agreed. And just like that, Tiny was welcomed, as something very unusual. A bunny puppy. Tiny smiled, but his heart still longed for Angie. "I'll stay," he said softly, "but we must come back, to see if she returns." The rabbits promised. Days passed. Tiny learned to hop. Though not very well. He tried to keep his ears straight, which flopped every time. And while JC grew frustrated, everything changed in a single moment. A hawk swooped down, and grabbed JC. The forest froze. But Tiny didn't. With all his courage, he barked loudly, so loudly, the hawk dropped JC and flew away in fear. From that moment on, Tiny wasn't just different. He was family. But not everyone was pleased. High above the trees, Miss Magpie spread fear across the forest. "A monster lives among the rabbits," she cried. And soon, danger followed. A sly fox came creeping. But Tiny stood strong. He growled, and the rabbits joined him. Together, they scared the fox away. Then came the hunters. The forest trembled. But Tiny taught his family to howl, a haunting, powerful sound that echoed through the trees, and the hunters fled in fear. But the greatest danger came with the rain. A raging flood swept through the rabbits' home. Water rose. The family panicked. Cody was carried away by the current, but without hesitation, Tiny leapt into the rushing water. Fighting the waves, he saved him. Again, and again. Tiny chose bravery. But bravery has a cost. One night, a vicious weasel attacked. Tiny fought back, protecting everyone, but not without injury. Weak, and trembling, he could barely stand. The rabbits rushed him to Dr. Owl. The wise old owl looked closely, and sighed. "He must go home," he said gently. "He cannot survive here." And so, with heavy hearts, the rabbits carried Tiny on a long journey. Across forests, over hills, and over a deep, dangerous gap. Together, they never gave up. At last, they reached his home. Quietly, they left him near his doghouse, and howled one final time, before disappearing into the forest. Angie heard it. She ran outside. And there he was, Tiny. Her Tiny. With tears of joy, she hugged him tightly. Grandpa smiled warmly. Their family was whole again. And deep in the forest, 7 rabbits looked up at the sky, knowing their 7th brother was finally home. Dr. Owl looked at you once more, and softly said, "Sometimes, family isn't who you're born with, but who you choose to love."